my name is Faye. I'm a VTuber and I play a bunch of farming sims, but actually I also work in the gaming development industry. So I want to talk about Coral Island today because there was a big update that broke people's save files yesterday, and there were a lot of angry people losing items in chests, etc. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a perspective from a game dev side and just some thoughts on how maybe we could do better in the indie games industry. So yesterday on Wednesday in the Coral Island community, there was an update that kind of broke the game in early access. If you scroll down here on the Steam page, you can click on see all updates. There's this one, the most recent one. We'll get to that in a second. But yesterday, there was a small update, patch notes posted, right? This was whatever 48897 version, and essentially this update was supposed to fix a bunch of things that crashed your game. But what happened was, in addition to nerfing honey prices, which people were upset about, apparently I haven't made a house yet, so we'll see. But in addition to, hopefully actually fixing some of those things, this actually crashed a lot of people's games. So if you come to the discussion here, there was a lot of angry comments. After this fix, my save doesn't start after I selected the save. This person actually put a bunch of things that might have helped the devs. A lot of these are kind of just sad. My storage chest is empty after the update. I had hoped this hotfix would fix my issues, but it exacerbated them, blah, blah, blah. A lot of these are actually sad, but this game has had a quite large reach, which is very impressive for an early access. So if you were actually watching this yesterday, there were a lot of actually angry things. Hey, please, my items just are all gone. What they have? Last time I experienced this, it was on Valheim. All my time playing is still. I want a refund. I want a refund. I play for blah blah blah. And yeah, there's just a lot of angry stuff going on here. I actually first heard about this patch breaking things over on a video from Play with Josh. So let me switch on over there. Play with Josh is a farming simulator gamer, and he makes a lot of really cool videos about farming sims mostly. And yesterday he had a planned stream for Coral Island, but as you can see, as he started the stream yesterday, this lasted for a total of 5 minutes, he started getting messages in his chat about, hey, there's an update and it's been breaking a lot of stuff. So he's like, should we really try this? What's going on? He tries to load his file, and alas, the game freezes and it does eventually black screen on him. He goes on to say, oh, it must be that update. That's really unfortunate. And we're gonna come back to stream whenever I can. He updated the title, recently said it's fixed now because it is, but actually for most of the day yesterday, this was kind of saying, watch this before updating your game. He did manage to start a live stream again yesterday. Again, Josh makes really cool videos. You should definitely check him out. So I'm glad he was able to do that. And for me, I was watching this pretty closely because I actually had a sponsored stream last night over on Twitch, and I was planning to play Coral Island 4. But I wanted to bring this up because in addition to streaming and yelling at games and playing FNAF scarily, I actually do work in the video games industry. I am a community manager / social media person, so I work very closely with game devs and publishers like that. And I just noticed so much negativity while this was happening yesterday, and I think we need to talk about it. We need to do better. This hotfix that crashed all of the games came out maybe yesterday morning-ish. I don't remember the exact time. Then, before even nighttime yesterday, because that's when I was streaming, there was a rollback. So this means that between the time of this posting and this posting was maybe 5 or 6 hours, and the devs, I'm sure, were having a horrible day. Because when you have a game this big, I haven't worked on a game this big, to be quite honest, there is a lot of pressure. You don't want to lose the momentum you have. You don't want to lose all of these really cool reviews that they're getting. They're actually getting a lot of very positive reviews. And if you sort by the newest ones, or I guess if we just look here, recently posted. Oh, here's a negative one. Getting stuck a lot, slow as heck. This is basically Stardew Valley. That's funny. But yesterday, there were actually quite a few negative reviews coming in. No, they weren't the majority, but there were a handful that were coming in that was talking about how their game just was crashing. I think there's a great lack of respect for gaming developers these days. There's a lack of reading and understanding of what early access could mean for a game. And there's a lot of people who buy early access games expecting a fully published release that maybe even lines up with AAA releases. The weird thing about that is we've seen a lot of AAA games recently and in the past year or so that suck. They crash. They are not fully furnished. They are not fully working. And yet sometimes people have the audacity to buy into an indie game that's in early access, see something that's a little bit buggy or needs a little bit of a rollback, and they just get so upset. I saw that in the comments here, but I also saw them in the Coral Island Discord, which is a gigantic Discord, by the way. I do not want to show that on screen just because, you know, you do have to join that. It's like, you know, it's public facing, but still you have to enter the thing. What eventually happened is we got the rollback to 48784 yesterday, and this actually meant that I could stream it last night. I didn't have any problems with it. However, if you take a look at the comments here, a lot of them are saying, thanks for the fast fix, hope you will figure it out soon, thank you, good luck. But some people, where are you? And I'm so sorry. My chests are still empty. The problem is that my tools were there. Help please, thank you. Lost space sword, how do I get it back? Is in the chest. Problem with the French language. Lost space sword in the chest after patch. So there were a lot of people that are still missing things in their chests. I'm not sure how that's going to get fixed, but alas, you know, this happens when it comes to early access. Next up, I actually thought this happened today, but I guess it happened late yesterday on Wednesday. There was a hotfix, and so this was actually basically the same patch that was supposed to, you know, fix a bunch of stuff, but then broke everything. It's the patch coming out again, but this time they're saying it's not going to crash your game. So that's pretty cool, obviously. Increase the salon price to 500, honey prices are adjusted. These are the most like quality of life changes. And then these other ones are more, you know, dev speak, actually making sure the game doesn't crash sort of things. So that came out late yesterday. So far, it seems like everything's going okay. Everyone's a little bit sad about the honey. Why do I have to download 16 gigs every time there's an update? Fair, but also, you know, kind of happens in early access. And then finally today, there was a hot patch. Some Chinese dialogue are swapped with French because my imported problems have been fixed. We saw that in a comment earlier. And some things are blah, blah, blah. Okay, just another bug falling to their house. I will just wait for full release. Keep up the good work. Nice, but when can I spend skill point for rank 2? Please fix bug. Can't give some flour to Alice. I bought a piggy bank put in my house. It was a chair. Looking forward to better Chinese optimization. Please make something to bring the sword back after the cleanse chest bug. I don't want to start a new game because of this. So yeah, this might be a hot take, but, and I mean, no hate toward any of these people. I just don't think they have like I don't think they have an insider look or consider what it's like to be a dev on the dev side. But a lot of these complaints I think are a little bit invalid. For example, if you lost your sword in the chest, I understand that's annoying. And maybe you could go into the Discord and see what other people are doing, see if there's a way to buy one or make one. And you know, I'm kind of talking out of pocket because I don't know what the solution to that is. But my biggest point is, these developers are working very hard, you know, and they're trying to make a game that is operational for eventual full release. This is an early access product. I think all of these quote complaints and the tone of it would be more appropriate if the game was in a full release state. But you did buy a game or back a game that is currently in early access. And in early access, you should be expecting that the game might not be as operational as it should be or would hopefully be in a full-time release. I think Josh actually had this pulled up over here. When you open the game Coral Island, there is an early access notice. Coral Island is in an early access state, which means that we're still actively developing it. This game will continue to take shape, blah, 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 blah. We are still in active development. Some features may not work correctly. You may also encounter unstable and or performance issues during play. Should you encounter bugs, crashes, or other issues, please reach out via email, blah, blah, blah. And please join the Discord. Overall, I think that people are forgetting to show some understanding and respect for people that make things that you love. This is not just a Coral Island example, even though that's the most recent one that just happened yesterday. But one of the big things that I've noticed is sometimes like gigantic streamers, gigantic Twitch streamers, they will play small indie games. And if something's a little bit wrong with it or not so smooth, sometimes they'll refund it after streaming it. And I personally don't like that idea, especially for people who are so big that, you know, you can literally see them making way more money from streaming that game than they paid for that tiny indie game that may be $20 or less, because we are not all gigantic publishers. We don't all have gigantic amounts of money to make everything super smooth, especially in an early access state. One other example that I'd love to bring up is Sunhaven. So Sunhaven is actually basically my go-to recommendation when it comes to farming simulators that are indie and not Stardew Valley, when people want to get a little bit more into it, but they've already played 300 hours in Stardew like me. But Sunhaven is actually still in early access. It came out into early access in June of 2021, and I did buy it then. I have started maybe 3 or 4 new save files in Sunhaven, not for fun, not for making a new character. I mean, it was still fun, but because of the early access state that kind of wiped save files on big updates. This is just a point that I understand some people will not enjoy. Some people do not want to restart a game when they've started, especially forcibly because of an update, and that is perfectly understandable. However, don't buy the game in early access then, okay? If you're going to play it in early access, you are agreeing to support the dev and where the project is at that moment. It literally says that in the Steam page when you buy it. And I don't know, I just feel like we need to show more respect to developers. And I have a little bit of a hunch that Coral Island might have gotten a little bit more pushback when there was that bug yesterday. I am closing my eye, by the way. Is it like clear? I feel like you might think that I'm just like bugging out on my face. But I don't know, I like to close my eye when I'm making a point. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, I do think my personal hypothesis is that Coral Island has a bit of a wider reach than Sunhaven did, because I generally remember the Sunhaven community being really understanding when we had to restart saves. Like, some of them, of course, weren't super happy about it, but in general, we were kind of like, oh, it's getting better and better. And the glitches were funny, the bugs are fun to experiment with and show people and help the devs perfect. But yeah, I refunded it entirely because you can only become friends with romance options. No, you're out of luck. You're not allowed to get to know the 20 people you meet in the village. You can mute yourself and have a short conversation every time to talk with them. Okay, that's just like a game design though. That's a separate video. This is a separate video for me to make. But sometimes like reviews, they get mad at like a game mechanic not being a thing. And I'm like, I understand if I promised you a game mechanic and it's not working and then you complain about it, that makes sense, right? But like, you can't come to my game where I tell you you can date 5 people and complain that I can't date person number 10. Like, I didn't promise that you could date person number 10, so sorry. Again, no hate towards that person. And some of the points I'm sure are perfectly valid. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Support indie game devs, read the fine print, refund things if you want to, but you know, think about it before you make a big stink because people are working really hard. I will see you next time. I stream a bunch over on Twitch and on YouTube and TikTok and stuff. So if you want to see me play scary games this month and or Coral Island too, because I'm addicted, I will see you there. Bye.